I'm having a really hard time adjusting physically to being home. So, ailments that I kind of left behind when I was in India are resurfacing. Anyway, I thought I'd better make some background for the next set of videos I'm going to do. As you may remember, the real focus of my I'm so decrepit. The real focus of my taking this trip was to go into this completely unknown area. I had seen an exhibit in San Francisco of quilts by these Siddi people who are African Indians. There aren't that many of them. There's an enclave in Karnataka and another in Gujarat. They have become very famous for their quilts. Well, I don't know very famous, but at least there was a gigantic exhibit. I went to the exhibit 3 times because I could not figure out how they made these quilts. They're not at all like any quilts that I've ever seen, and I took quilt makers with me. None of us could figure out how they were assembled, these quilts. It's just, the pieces aren't sewn together, the pieces on the top. So I just decided to go there, to go to Mainali in the middle of nowhere, and try to find these quilters and figure out what they're doing. So that's what I did. It was very full of joy, preceded by a slight doubt and uncertainty, but it was definitely worth going. And Henry Druel had given me some tips on how to get there, and it involved going into this convent in Mundgod, great name for a place to have a convent, and that those sisters could get me to the Siddi people. So that's what I did. And I ended up getting just as much of a treasure of an experience with these 4 women, these sisters. They were incredible people. So I stayed at their place, and it was just a short walk down to this one little group of quilters. They're scattered all over. What happened was the sisters were so busy they couldn't really help me very much, like taking me places to meet different people. So I didn't meet a whole lot of quilters. But of course you only need one, and this was Dungi. She lived not far from the convent, and so I went, once I found out how to get there and everything, I went there every day, and I was there for a week. And she, after the first couple of days, when she realized that I was kind of serious about this, that I wanted to learn how to do it, I was videoing like mad. It was mind-blowing. I've never seen anything like it. It's a strange, strange process. So then I went one day, and she was getting things set up, and said she was going to show me from the whole process. She was going to make a small piece, and here it is. So she was going to make this small piece, and then I could watch and see how she was putting it together, how it was happening. It was like a demonstration. I ended up, of course, bringing it home. And so that's what these videos are going to be about, the next ones to come. They're going to be about the sisters. Life there was incredible. They were an amazing group of women. So they were busy getting ready for Christmas, and they had rehearsals in the evening with the Siddi people. They were mainly, the Siddi, there are Muslim, Hindu, and Christian Siddis. These African Indians, they came about 400 years ago to India, and the Portuguese may probably had something to do with this. Many of them are Christian, and so this group, of course, the group that I met were Christian, but the sisters are very much connected with all the others as well, and gave me all kinds of information. So I've got the rehearsal of the locals getting ready for the Christmas program. It was music. When I first heard it, it's not like Indian music. When I first heard it, I thought the guy with the electric keyboard, actually, he only knew how to play right hand. He didn't know how to do the chords. He knew how to turn on a drum track. He didn't know how to do the chords, though, so he just picked chords. They didn't really go with the piece. And I resisted the temptation to lean over his shoulder and show him what the correct chords would be. Now I've heard it so many times. The ones he's playing are perfect. They obviously belong, whether they were, that's where they were, and it was great. So another thing I did was, after I left there, I started going to tailors to get scraps, because that's what they're making their quilts out of, is scraps. So I've got tons of scraps here from tailors. I would go into a tailor and I'd say, do you have any scraps? They didn't know. You know, there was no English either. I found out, well, waste material, waste, they kind of knew that, but it didn't compute. So one day, I took in this. Oh, they got the picture, and they went in, and they were calling in people from next door and everything to come in and look at this. And then they started saving them for me with a vengeance. So that's what all my baggage coming home was, just full of garbage. Well, I was so eager to get started. I just finished this today. It's small, but I just couldn't wait to try it. It's a very slow process. It's very hard on the hand. It might take you a minute to do 3 stitches, but you're doing the whole operation at once. You are assembling and doing essentially the quilting at once. So when you're done, you're done. It's not like in stages with our quilts where you piece the top and then you assemble it and then you quilt it. You are assembling it by quilting it.